Can all Asians do the Asian squat? Do you know what I mean by the Asian squat? If not, watch this.
How can you sit like this? I cannot sit like this.
What?
I cannot sit like this. It's really hard.
Are you serious?
I cannot sit like. Sit again, sit. Show me.
Just,
Whoa.
everyone can do it.
No, I swear not everyone. I think just Chinese people.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe that before. I think you are just funny. Really?
Like this?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's so hard.
But back to my question. Can all Asians do the Asian squat? And I don't just mean us East and Southeast Asians, but all Asians. Because it's called the Asian squat, right? Well, actually, that's debatable. Because in some parts of the world, it's called the Slav squat. Because apparently all Slavic people can do it as well, right? I'm sure you guys have all seen the Gopnik memes about Slavic people. And they are always doing the squat, right? And so a lot of people call it the Slav squat. And here's another question. Are all Gopniks Slavs? Like, I know that all Slavs are not Gopniks, right? Because Gopnik is a type of Slav. It's like a Slavic chav, is my understanding, right? And hopefully I'm not offending anyone here. I hope I'm not causing any insult to anybody by using the word Gopnik. Because I don't know, is it a slur? I don't think Gopnik is a slur, right? It's kind of the equivalent of chav in the UK. Although some people would consider that a slur. I suppose if you are a chav, then you would consider it a slur. So can any Gopniks out there tell me whether or not they find it offensive? And if not all Gopniks are Slavs, then perhaps it shouldn't be called the Slav squat, but the Gopnik squat. Or do Slavs who are not Gopniks also squat? Is it just something that the Gopnik Slavs do, or do all Slavs squat? Anyway, I digress. But my point is, more people in the UK refer to it as the Slav squat than the Asian squat. But in North America, I understand it's known as the Asian squat. But is it all Asians, or is it just the Orientals? Do South Asians, Desi people, do they squat? And when I say do they squat, obviously I don't mean are they capable of squatting, but is it something that they do customarily out on the street, like us Chinese do? And the funny thing is, although they might not choose to do it out in public, I always thought everybody could squat. But it's not true. They can't all squat. A lot of English people, like Caucasians that I know, cannot squat. They lose their balance and they don't have the strength in their legs to hold themselves in that position. They fall over backwards when they try and squat. They can only do it for like a couple of seconds. Isn't that weird? Are you somebody who can squat for extended periods? Or do you get tired or lose your balance if you try and squat for too long? And why is it then that some of us can and some of us can't? Is it a genetic thing? Or is it because we traditionally had squat toilets in China? Like, do they use squat toilets in the Slavic nations? But thinking about it, although I'm Oriental, I grew up in the West, so I didn't grow up using squat toilets. But I can do the Asian squat. I can squat for an hour, and I don't know, I've never tried, but I think I probably could. I can squat for extended periods, let's put it that way. And I wouldn't struggle. It's quite comfortable for me. Whereas, as I said before, most Caucasians that I know find it really uncomfortable to squat. So given the fact that I didn't grow up using squat toilets, then I would argue that perhaps it is genetic or hereditary or evolutionary, or however you put it. So those are the questions on my mind at the moment. But another funny thing about that clip I shared at the beginning of this video, some of the commenters thought that the guy was being racist the way he approached that Chinese girl. But I don't know, maybe some of you guys think that too. Certainly, if I was doing the Asian squat on the street, and I've seen Chinese people doing it on Oxford Circus, and some non-Chinese person came up to me and struck up a conversation about my squatting, I wouldn't be offended by it. I think it would be quite an interesting conversation. I mean, if you're squatting on the street, you shouldn't be precious about it, right? I mean, unless you need some privacy because you're taking a dump. But generally, when we squat here in the West, it's not for that purpose, right?